All right, the next thing I want to do, and those folks exist. I'm not knocking you. So now I'm going to create a new coded UI test. Only this time, I'm going to record all of my actions. So I keep my record option here. And you'll notice that the screen kind of minimizes, and down, hopefully without scrolling, in your lower right-hand side of your screen, I've got the coded UI test builder. So this is basically a recorder. Okay, so if I'm going to build up a test case here, I'm going to say start recording. No, and you know what? Tom, email me that exact question, and I'm going to point you to a document out on Codeplex. And I'm really concerned here that this coded UI test builder is it's using a similar engine as Test Manager, so I'm really concerned that I'm going to have the same performance problem. Tom, you email me, and I'm going to point you to a document that will help you troubleshoot that. Long story short, there's some settings in the qtagent32.config file where you can turn things like whether or not to capture the hovering. You can turn that on and off. And also, I don't even know if I'm getting a screen refresh, if I'm recording or not. So I'm going to just give this a try here. I don't think I am. No, I'm having the same problem. Let me see what I can do here. It's a great argument for having a Camtasia recording as a fallback, isn't it? I'm going to just try this a little differently. Last try here. I think it's recording. And I spelled that wrong. Okay, so when you mess up, go start over. I'm totally going to break the rules. I don't want to wait for Internet Explorer to launch again and record that, so this isn't going to really work, but I have a working version. So internet.fabriconfiber.com. Okay, so here's what a workflow with this looks like. So now I can go in. I'm going to go in. I'm going to do my create new ticket. And I generate code very frequently. And I use really verbose names. And hopefully when it goes to the test writing portion, writing the actual lines of code, you'll understand why. So I'm going to call this create ticket. No, I'm not. I'm going to call it click create ticket button. Okay. Now I'm going to add a title here. Generate code. Oh, forgot to record. Get rid of that. Record. Add a title. Generate. Record. Change the escalation level. Just got to record. Okay, messed up. No big deal. All I really need to do is get back to the page in the same state that it was, and I can resume recording. Record. And recode. Select my customer. And then create, and then record. Now this is interesting. This is another weakness of the single UI map. Remember, I already created a method called, what did I call it? Click create button. So if I try and use that same method name, it's going to overwrite the last one. Okay, so using a single UI map, it's going to be, you're going to want to kind of qualify your methods, maybe with some page information, because you're going to have OK buttons or cancel buttons all over the place, right? So maybe what I could have done would have called it click dashboard create button, click ticket create button, whatever, something like that. So this is another caution if you're using a single UI map, and for me it's another motivation to getting away from using single UI maps and using multiple UI maps. Everything's not in one junk drawer, so to speak. So I've got to call this something unique. Ticket create button, right? And generate. Finally, I'm going to go in. I'm going to go record back to the list. This is because of my scripting yesterday, and I don't want to replace it. And then finally, what I want to do, clicking through that's great. That exercises the app. But now what I really need to do is I need to be able to validate something, right? So down here on the little coded UI tests builder down here, this little target looking thing, if you click and hold your left mouse button down and drag it over the browser here, it's going to select little areas for me or things I want to validate. So I'm going to keep it really simple here, and I'm just going to validate that a title is in the grid. So I'm going to add what's called an assertion, and it's going to come up and say, what do you want to do? I want to validate that this cell is equal, you can see the R equal, to this text, a title. And best practice would be to be putting all of these message on failures and that sort of thing. So this failure would be the does not exist, for example. Now, if I run a test and I run this assertion and it fails, I'm going to get an intelligent message that says something like the title, whatever, does not exist. Okay, but just for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to do that in the demonstration. Okay, and then the final thing I want to do is, let's see, did I generate that? Assert that it exists. I'm going to add and generate. And then the final thing you're going to want to do is actually record closing the browser. Okay, so I'm going to say record. Close the browser. Add and generate it. Say OK. And then when I close this, all that code has been generated for me. And here's why I'm really verbose in what I name these methods. Because especially when you're working in the single UI map, you're going to get the more, every control you have is basically in this UI map. Okay, so when you go use the Intellisense, so if I say UI map dot, look at all this stuff I've got to get through. It needs to be named really well for me to understand what the heck it is I'm trying to interact with. Look at, I've got to click back to list link, click create button, click create new button, new link, new to, It's already unwieldy, and I've just added a handful of controls really to the application. Okay, so be thoughtful about what you name these methods.